Have you ever looked at a clear blue sky and noticed tiny shapes moving in your vision? These shapes can be quite intriguing and sometimes even a bit distracting. These shapes, often resembling squiggles, cobwebs, or specks, are called eye floaters. They can appear suddenly and move as you try to focus on them. While they might seem like tiny objects floating in front of your eyes, they are actually inside your eyes. They drift around as your eyes move, making them seem like they're floating. Floaters are a common visual phenomenon that most people experience at some point in their lives. They are usually harmless, but can be a sign of an underlying condition if they appear suddenly or in large numbers. These mysterious shadows are not optical illusions or external objects. They are a natural part of the aging process for many people. They are caused by small clumps of protein or other cellular debris that are suspended within the vitreous humor of our eyes. Over time, the vitreous can shrink and form these clumps. The vitreous humor is a clear, gel-like substance that fills the space between the lens and the retina at the back of the eye. It helps maintain the eye's shape and allows light to pass through to the retina. Think of it like a clear jelly holding the shape of your eye. When the vitreous humor changes, it can cast shadows on the retina, which we perceive as floaters. These tiny clumps cast shadows on the retina, the light-sensitive tissue at the back of the eye that sends signals to the brain, which then interprets them as images. The retina is a crucial part of our visual system, converting light into neural signals that the brain can understand. As light passes through the vitreous humor, the shadows cast by these clumps are projected onto the retina, just like shadows on a wall. This process is similar to how a projector casts images onto a screen, creating a visual representation that our brain can interpret. This is why we perceive them as dark shapes moving across our field of vision. These shapes can vary in size and density, sometimes appearing as small dots, threads, or even cobweb-like structures. One of the characteristic features of floaters is their tendency to drift. This drifting motion is influenced by the movement of the vitreous humor within the eye, which is a gel-like substance that fills the space between the lens and the retina. They move as our eyes move, and they often seem to dart away when we try to focus on them directly. This can make them particularly frustrating to deal with, as they never seem to stay still long enough for us to get a good look at them. This elusive behavior is due to the fact that floaters are suspended within the vitreous humor, which itself moves slightly as our eyes move. The constant motion of the vitreous humor means that floaters are always in flux, creating a dynamic and ever-changing visual experience. While floaters are always present in our eyes, they become more noticeable under certain lighting conditions. They are particularly noticeable when we look at a bright, uniform background, such as a clear sky, a white wall, or a computer screen. This is because the bright, even illumination makes the shadows cast by the floaters more prominent. Think of it this way: it's easier to see dust particles floating in a beam of sunlight than in a dimly lit room. Similarly, the bright light shining through the pupil of our eye illuminates the floaters, making their shadows more visible against the bright background. In addition to floaters, there's another fascinating visual phenomenon that you may have experienced: the blue field entoptic phenomenon. Have you ever noticed tiny bright dots moving quickly across your field of vision, especially when looking at a bright blue sky? These dots are not just figments of your imagination. These fleeting dots, sometimes referred to as sprites, are not floaters but rather a different type of entoptic phenomenon. Unlike floaters, which are caused by shadows, these bright dots are actually white blood cells moving through the capillaries in front of the retina. The capillaries are so small that the white blood cells need to pass through them in single file. As a white blood cell moves through a capillary, it momentarily blocks light from passing through, creating a tiny fleeting shadow on the retina. This shadow is what you perceive as a bright dot moving across your vision. The phenomenon is most noticeable when looking at a bright, uniform background like a clear blue sky. It's a reminder of the intricate and fascinating processes happening within our own bodies, even in moments of simple observation, like gazing at the sky. Most of the time, floaters and blue field entoptic phenomena are harmless, and simply a reminder of the complex and intricate workings of our visual system. However, a sudden increase in the number of floaters, especially if accompanied by flashes of light or a loss of peripheral vision, can be a sign of a more serious eye condition, such as a retinal tear or detachment. If you experience a sudden change in your vision, it is crucial to seek immediate medical attention from an eye care professional. They can examine your eyes and determine the cause of the symptoms. Remember, our eyes are precious, and it is essential to take care of them.